Hello students, welcome to the next topic, that is acceleration. Last time we discussed displacement and velocity. Velocity is the time rate of change of displacement, which is a vector quantity measured in the unit of meter per second. Now we are discussing the quantity acceleration. The acceleration means there is a change in the velocity of the body. During the motion in our day-to-day life, we encounter that whenever we are moving on the road, there is always change in the speed of the vehicle, or there is a change in the direction, or both speed and direction change simultaneously. So whenever a body is moving on a road and it undergoes a change in its speed or direction, or both at the same time, then body is said to possess acceleration. So how do we define acceleration? Acceleration is the time rate of change of the velocity. Because velocity is a vector quantity, so the acceleration is also a vector quantity. So we can write that acceleration is arising due to the change in velocity divided by the time in which that change in the velocity has taken place. Because velocity is measured in the unit of meter per second, when you divide it with the time further, its unit in the SI system will become meter per second square, or in the CGS system it will be centimeter per second square. So acceleration is the change in the velocity. Now we defined an average acceleration. For here we have a body moving along positive x-axis such that when it is passing from the point A at time t equal to t1, the velocity of the body is v1 meter per second. When body reaches at the point B at time t equal to t2 second, the velocity of the body becomes v2 meter per second. So there is a change in the velocity of the body while moving from point A to the point B in a time interval t2 minus t1. So body is said to possess acceleration. So what will be the average acceleration? Average acceleration is the total change in the velocity divided by the total time taken. So what is the total change in the velocity? It is v2 minus v1 divided by the time in which that change has occurred, that is t2 minus t1, which can also write it as delta v over delta t. Now here remember one important point, that whenever we are finding the acceleration, we are always finding out the difference of the velocity. So while finding the difference of velocity, when we write v2 minus v1, we always write this difference of velocity as final velocity minus initial velocity. It doesn't matter whether the velocity is increasing or decreasing, we always write acceleration as final velocity minus initial velocity divided by the time interval in which that change in the velocity has taken place. This equation is written in the scalar form. We know that velocity is a vector quantity, so acceleration is also a vector quantity. So in the vector form, the average acceleration can be written as v2 vector minus v1 vector divided by t2 minus t1 equal to delta v over delta t. An important conclusion from this equation: if v2 is greater than v1, that means as the body is moving from A to B, there is a continuous increase in the velocity of the body. In that case, v2 minus v1 will be positive, so acceleration will be positive. So in this case, when the velocity of the body continuously increases with the time, then the acceleration of the body comes out to be positive quantity. This type of acceleration we normally call it as positive acceleration or simply acceleration. Acceleration means there is a continuous increase in the velocity of the body. But if v1 is greater than v2, that means when the body moves from point A to B, there is a reduction in the velocity. If the velocity of the body goes on decreasing, if body moves from A to B, then the difference v2 minus v1 will come out negative. In that case, the acceleration will also be negative. So positive sign related with the acceleration will indicate there is an increase in the velocity. The negative sign attached with the acceleration will indicate there is a decrease in the velocity. So this negative acceleration we also call it as retardation. That is, negative acceleration is also called as retardation. So whenever we are measuring the retardation, it is always equal to negative of the negative acceleration which we have got. For example, if acceleration of a body comes out to be minus 5 meter per second square, If acceleration is minus 5 meter per second square and we want to find out the acceleration, then then the retardation will be negative of the negative acceleration, that is minus of minus 5, which will give us 5 meter per second square. So while writing acceleration, we can place a negative sign if there is a reduction in velocity, but while if there is by finding retardation, we will not place any negative sign, but we will just write down the value in the positive nature, because retardation itself means reduction in the velocity. Next is the instantaneous acceleration. What was instantaneous velocity? Velocity measured at any given instant of time. For example, the velocity or the speed measured by the speedometer of a vehicle. It gives us the instantaneous speed. So, instantaneous acceleration is the acceleration of a body measured at any given instant of time during its motion. In fact, when the time interval between point A and B, it is very small, such that delta t is almost close to 0. That means when point A and B, they are very so close to each other that time taken by the body to move from A to B is almost equal to 0, then under this limit, delta V over delta t, when delta t approaching 0, we call it as the acceleration, instantaneous acceleration, which is given by dv over dt. That is, it is the first time derivative of the velocity. So instantaneous acceleration can be determined by having the first time derivative of the velocity. So instantaneous acceleration is a equal to dv over dt. But we already learned that velocity is the first time derivative of the displacement, because velocity is first time derivative of the displacement. So if we use this value of velocity here, what we will get? Instantaneous acceleration will be d by dt of dx by dt, which will give us instantaneous acceleration as d square x over dt square. So we can say that acceleration is first time derivative of the velocity, or it is the second time derivative of the displacement. Before we finish, we have to remember this important points, that acceleration is arriving due to the change in the velocity. So whenever velocity of the body undergoes a change, the body is said to possess acceleration. So because velocity change is responsible for acceleration, and we know that velocity is a vector quantity which possesses magnitude, that is speed, and direction as well. So during the motion of the body, if only the speed of the body is undergoing a change, but there is no change in the direction, even then body will possess the acceleration. If only the direction of motion of the body changes, but speed does not change, even then the body is going to possess acceleration, because under these both conditions, either due to change in speed or due to the change in direction, velocity of the body is undergoing a change. And last, both speed and direction, when they change simultaneously, even then the body is going to possess acceleration. So acceleration indicates the change in the velocity of the body. So whenever we find out the velocity, which is the time rate of change of the displacement, so velocity is directed in the direction of the displacement, but acceleration is not always directed in the direction in which the change in the velocity occurs. So direction of acceleration can be different from the direction in which the velocity of the body is taking place, or direction in which the body is moving. Thank you.